My name's Kat Pritchard. I'm project manager of the YMCA Right Here project.
And I'm Thursday Legg. I'm one of our participation coordinators.
So ideally we would have had some of our young ambassadors with us today. Unfortunately they couldn't make it, so you're going to have to put up with us, I'm afraid. But yeah, there's a lot to get through, so I'll try and get through as much as possible in the time that we have. So, the project that I manage, we're a participation project for young people. We're run by YMCA Downs Link Group, and we do a lot of different work streams commissioned by mostly public health and the clinical commissioning group. We're based in Brighton and Hove. We do some work across West Sussex as well. Part of that work is things like activities for 18 to 25-year-olds. So we do a canine walk and talk programme, we do a creative arts for confidence programme and a food for thought group. We do health engagement work, so that involves our team of young ambassadors going out into the streets and talking to young people and getting their views and opinions on different health and social care experiences. I'll talk about that and show you some of that work a little bit later on as well. We also do digital work, so we have a national website called Find Get Give. There's lots of resources at the back of the room that you can pick up, and we'll be giving some out in this presentation as well. And we have our own website and another local website for Brighton and Hove called Where to Go For, and lots of social media channels. I'm going to pass over to Thursday so that she can talk about the parts that she delivers.
So as well as all that, we also run some campaigns, so health campaigns looking at raising awareness, reducing stigma. These start from really quite broad ideas and through consultation work and working with our young ambassadors, come down to really target a specific issue or concern for young people across the county. We also produce resources and guides, so again through consultation with other groups of young people. So we were fortunate enough to go to Free Your Mind recently to consult with their young people around creating a new resource. You'll find them all at the back of the room, so you can go have a nosy later. But again, this is through wider consultation, and our young ambassadors are the ones that actually produce and create these resources. And as well as this, we deliver mental health workshops in the local secondary schools around Brighton and Hove, and they are created and co-facilitated by our youth ambassadors.
We'll talk about how we do it a bit later on. So just kind of, this fits nicely actually with what was discussed earlier this morning in the incredible speeches we heard from some of the young people here today. So in the good old-fashioned rules of engagement, we're going to use some bribery to get some of you to speak. So the question is, from today and everything you've heard so far, what does youth participation mean to you? What words does it bring up? What phrases do you think about? If you participate, you will get a gift. So who's going to go first? Thursday, I'm going to give you the microphones.
Oh, right, okay. Hands up. Who's going to participate? Brilliant, Warren.
Taking a risk of listening really carefully.
Yes, nice.
Yeah, I knew you wanted one.
Not bad.
Shared decision making.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Anyone else for a gift?
They're really good.
nice. They're really
great.
nice.
Asking the right questions.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Meaningful engagement.
Fabulous.
I think it was the young lady Chanel said it perfectly earlier, which was choice, options, and information.
Oh, who's being pulled?
Youth participation for me is really doing things differently and wanting to do it differently.
Has to start from that one table.
Thank you. I think it's about adults listening, young people being heard by the adults, and then young people doing the doing.
Brilliant.
Doing the doing.
That's
I like
probably
it.
all the gifts we have time for. Sorry.
You'll find me later with the rest of the balls.
Thanks.
That's very energetic.
Thank you. And thanks for everyone that contributed. On your stress balls, there is the, it's a bit of shameless promotion, the website that we designed with our young people. That's a national mental health website for young people. So look it up, and there's also resources and stress balls at the back. So we asked the young people that we work with what it meant to them. And these are some of the things they came up with. So a lot of it is about exactly the things you've been talking about and learning about this morning. So asking them what they think, it sounds so simple, but like we can understand from this morning, there need to be a lot of structures in place to make that meaningful and useful. Valuing them and giving them the space to feel valued and heard and engaging with them in a meaningful, useful way. But it's also about what they get back from it. So it's not just about what they can give to us, but also the ability for them to make new friends and learn things and have new experiences. So how do we do it? So this is our participation process. I'm really mindful that when Thurza and I talk through this isn't a recommendation of how to do participation. It isn't a formula of how to make participation work in your setting. It's how our specific project does it. It is different for every setting, which is why I haven't got loads of these sheets to give out to people, because whatever you do in your setting will look different to what we do. But these are the things we think are important, and this is how we do it.
So Kat's going to talk more about these deeper cultural things, but in a logistic sort of way. What do we do? So we have two different teams of ambassadors, our health promotion and our health champion teams, and so they each meet once a week. So we're fortunate enough to have 2 meetings a week of 2 hours where we meet with our young people. We provide snacks. Obviously, they have a say in what snacks they get, and we meet weekly, each team. But between that, we have a Facebook group that we're set up on, a nice private closed group where young people can share their ideas in between that time. So it's all about working throughout that time between each meeting. So young people might choose to go away and work on a particular project. Say if we're creating a resource, maybe they're writing a certain bit of copy that's going to go in that, and they're able to take that away and do it within their own sort of space. But at the same time, they can talk to each other throughout that time and make sure they're consulting with each other. It also allows us to just kind of ask quick questions so that we're not waiting week by week to kind of have their input on some of the smaller, more minor things. And yeah, I don't know, that's about it.
So all of our structures create a continual conversation with the young people that we work with. It's ongoing all the time, and they always have the opportunity to talk to us about what we're doing and give us their opinions. In terms of sort of the structure of that, we really champion diversity, and diversity isn't just about ethnicity, sexuality, gender, and all of the wider determinants that we think about. It's also about diversity of opinion, diversity of skills, diversity of personalities, looking for different young people that can work together in completely different ways. A lot of what our volunteers say is that they connect with other people that they never would have made friends with in other circumstances. We communicate clearly, so that's a little bit about roles and responsibilities, and we've been having some conversations on our table today about what happens when young people want to build a swimming pool or, do things that we can't realistically achieve. And part of that is really crucial early communication about what we're doing and why and what the context of that is, and making that accessible. We create a safe and inclusive space. That's so important, and only possible because of Thurza and our other participation coordinator, Jacob. The reason that our process is different to some other people is because we don't involve young people in our service. Young people are our service. We were built from the basis that they knew exactly what they needed and were the best people to talk about it. So obviously if you're slotting participation into your project, it's going to look a little bit different because we're coming from different angles towards the same goal. We offer support training and opportunities, and again that goes back to not just kind of dropping young people into a professional context and going, well, go on, tell us what you think, do all of this stuff. It's really unfair and it's not meaningful. So we put a lot of time and effort into supporting our young volunteers and making sure that everything they're involved in is accessible and useful and gives something back to them. Recognise and reward, which Free Your Mind talked about amazingly, that incredible event that they threw that looks amazing. It's so important to kind of take a step back from all the work you're doing, from all of the targets, all of the deadlines, all of the commissioning, and look at the impact that the work has for young people and on the young people themselves. That's so crucial. And then extend reach. So that's both within our organisation, so looking at what further opportunities our young people have, sitting on recruitment panels, being involved in more decisions around our board and our CEO, but also externally. So some of our young people went and spoke at the Labour Party conference recently about health inequalities. They've also been involved in national campaigns, which we'll talk about a bit later as well. So it's looking at how we can use the learning and the experience, the amazing skills that they've built, and take it further. And part of extending our reach is recognising that we have a team of young people who are ready to give their time twice a week, and they're ready to be involved in that work, and they're able to. But there's lots of young people that we want to know the views and opinions about that don't have that time, or for whatever reason in their lives aren't in the right space to contribute in the structure that we've set up. So Thurza and Jacob have very usefully created a new part of our project very recently to get the voices and opinions of a wider pool of young people. A lot of the work we do goes out and consults with other young people in the street and in other youth settings, but we were really aware that young people also want sometimes just the one-off opportunity to take part in something or be involved in something and not necessarily have to give up all of their time continually. So I'm going to hand over to Thurza to talk a little bit about our youth voice.
I fear that you've just said everything I was about to say.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So that we can, so much of our work does access ready form groups, as I said, like Free Your Mind, and young people who are already in quite kind of formal settings and happy to sit there and share their experiences with us. But ultimately, this is our glorified mailing list, to get out and reach those young people who are willing to have a little bit of an input, really, really keen to share their voice. So many of our outreach work that we've done in order to get these young people, so various fairs across the city in recent weeks, young people said, yeah, I'm keen to give my voice, absolutely, kind of sign me up, but no, I can't commit to a regular meeting. So we've been chucking these lists around. This form has taken many different formats. It's got simpler and simpler, and is currently in an even more simple form than this, because young people said, hang on, why do I need all this information? What are all these opportunities? So even through this, there was consultation with young people around what signing up to a mailing list might look like. We're very keen not to call it a mailing list. That's a horrible, scary thing to be signed up to, and we obviously don't want to be spamming young people with all sorts. So we're very careful to receive enough information about the young people that we're accessing in terms of their demographics, so that we are only sending relevant opportunities or relevant bits of research, but at the same time not being too intrusive on their privacy and not holding too many details that we don't need. So this has changed even more from this point. But yeah, really keen for us to be able to reach as many young people, and we're aware that that still doesn't necessarily it doesn't access those who haven't got an email or haven't got access to that. So we obviously do head out and go and see young people. But over the last 2 months, we've got nearly 200 people on our youth voice list. So we know that we are accessing more and more young people who wouldn't necessarily have those more formalised opportunities to participate.
So why does it matter? Why is the work important? Why are we doing it? So rather than give you a list of reasons, which I'm sure you're all aware of, you're all here today, and I think it's clear from the conversations I've heard that you all value participation, I thought I'd just put up some quotes from our ambassadors and from students that they've worked with, particularly through our workshop work. And I think it's really clear to see that the impact is undeniable, both for what our volunteers receive, but what young people get from having that peer-led approach to the work. There are challenges. Challenges are always going to exist. Resources and time are a real factor, and also communicating that when we're being commissioned work, working with a team of young people and working in consultation takes longer. It takes longer to achieve the same thing that it might do if one person was doing it, because you're a group and you're working together. And similarly to Free Your Mind, echo the kind of, we definitely get a lot of requests, and that's brilliant. It's lovely that people want to come and talk to us, and we try and honour as much of that as possible. But we also balance that with what our young people are getting out of it. Otherwise, those requests are a bit tokenistic, and we're mindful that always giving into requests and always allowing people to come and use our groups of young people may prevent those groups from building their own participation and making it meaningful for themselves. So we're going to go on to quickly talk about a few of our pieces of work that we've done. 5 minutes, okay. I'm going to show a 2-minute video and then we're going to skim through the rest. So this video is part of our health consultation work. So our team of young volunteers go out into the street and they take their phones and they interview young people about particular issues and film them, and it forms a wider piece of consultation work that they do with loads of different youth groups and other young people in the city around experiences. That all forms a report that goes to the clinical commissioning group, and they write their own recommendations for what should happen within the city. So this particular consultation was about young men and body image, and it's really to just demonstrate the power of young people just asking each other questions. Hopefully the sound's going to work.
I wouldn't be able to say really. I never received any education about it, so I suppose not.
Oh.
I think it's quite overlooked generally.
Yeah. I feel like there's a reasonable amount that's said about
it's not on the screen.
Women's self-image, but
is there a reason for that? Okay, well maybe we'll talk about some of our other work while that's being fixed. So. There we go. So another example of some of our campaigns work is the No Worries campaign. So this was a local campaign that our young people created. The aim was to improve access to a sexual health service, a particular drop-in in the west of the city that wasn't being accessed by young people. So our young ambassadors created a peep show style campaign video that showed what people within the service were thinking and what they were thinking to dispel some of the myths that young people articulated about feeling judged. It's a little bit cutting edge. That is a wee shot. It's apple juice. And it does use some very direct language, but it was really successful. So in the 5 months following the campaign launch, the numbers of young people accessing that service doubled every month. And it was viewed 1,000 times on our Facebook channels. So a really effective and useful thing that was directed by young people. We also have our Find Get Give website, which is on the stress balls, and there's some stuff at the back there. If you are a service that delivers mental health provision to young people, you can register your service on this site for free. It takes about 5 minutes, and it's a way of young people being able to find where you are and know about your service. They can also rate and review their experience. It's a really useful way of capturing feedback and opinions of young people, and a way that you can respond and build and improve your service. There's also help and advice pages, resources. All of these are gone through. We have a young digital volunteer who helps us to look through all of these resources and decide what might be useful, and then we take them out to the team to test those apps and pages and videos so that they can tell us if they think they're good for young people. And we have a parent carer page and a blog platform as well. I'm trying to talk really quickly now because I know we haven't got a lot of time. There's a... Do you want to talk about the workshops?
Very good, talking very quickly. So again, our workshops are, we offer 5 different workshops all around kind of mental health. Again, these have been devised and are co-facilitated by our team of ambassadors. They're constantly changing and adapting depending on what's new. We, for example, our social media workshop, that changes near enough every week as the volunteers bring to us new issues and concerns that are around there. So lots of stuff going on.
Amazing. There's also a lot of storytelling in our workshops, so our young volunteers talk about their own lived experiences. For our most recent workshop, they shot their own videos so that if on the day they didn't feel comfortable with sharing how they were feeling or they didn't feel able to, they could show the video in its place. I Am Whole, so this was a campaign that our project was involved in. Some of you might recognise it and might have been involved in it. Last year, our young volunteers were involved in the music video, the campaign video, supporting and shaping all of the research that went out by the YMCA, and they were also case studies on the days. They went out and spoke to the media. Connie's story was spoken about in Parliament, and they went and talked to Radio 1 Extra and BBC News about their own experiences of mental health as a way of reducing stigma for other young people. Keep an eye out for this year, it's really, really soon, and I Am Whole is relaunching, so yeah, keep an eye out for that hashtag. I won't say too much. And then finally, in the last sort of few weeks, we asked our ambassadors what their top tips were. So I'm going to let Thurza go through these because she was having the conversations with them.
So for our young ambassadors, mostly it was about making sure that there's a safe space. So that really comes from having the young people at the centre of what you're doing, because if they're creating their own space, then they're going to create it how they want it to be. So it's all about having ownership, having a comfortable environment where they can and are keen to share views and whatnot. We're also very much about having a conversation. So we're really pleased that they're involved in kind of setting their own ground rules and what have you. And they prompt that, and again, it's very fluid, it changes from time to time, and it's all about opening that dialogue and sort of never shutting down conversations, allowing the space and time to explore whatever avenue the conversations might go down. Sorry, that's the time.
No, it's fine. Yeah. So we never just say no. It's a conversation. So if they wanted to build a swimming pool, we would never just say no. We would say why. Why do you want to do that? What would you hope would happen? What would be the purposes? And then we would try and reach a ground that we could do something that was achievable, that meant we met the things that they wanted. So it's never just shutting down that conversation because we can't. So unfortunately we couldn't show you the video, but I do encourage you to look up our social channels and have a look at our YouTube channel. It has loads of videos starring and directed and produced by our young people that are really great and really impactful. And our new website is launching next week, so if you look at that before then, don't judge us. We've created a new one. It's coming up very soon. So have a look at our website next week and you can know a bit more about us and grab some stuff at the back as well.